Hello, everyone. Hello, Dr. Lightman.
Hello.
We're talking today, continuing to talk about management skills. And the topic today is roundtables. First, we'll start with a little bit of introduction of what roundtables are, the history of it. Our ancestors gathered together to solve serious problems and also find connections between them. They gather together in a circle. The sages of Sanhedrin also sat in a circle. It was not a table that they sat around, but this was a state level. Also, according to the legend, the King Arthur, it was a 5th or 6th century before BC, that he gathered the knights in a round table so that everyone would feel equal. He used this round table, King Arthur. In the modern history, the name of round table is started to being used in the beginning of 20th century. What do you think is the main goal of using the round tables?
To show everyone that all participants are equal and that each of them has really his free ability to express his opinion, and they can express absolutely freely anything they wish between themselves. Meaning, first and foremost, is to bring everyone to equality.
So we can use roundtable not just to solve conflicts, but it also is used to discuss things and just improve connections.
Yeah.
Do you think we can use it on a state level to solve problems or just improve connections?
Well, if there is a serious preparation, then of course you can have roundtables on the governmental or state level, even though that you can pretty rarely get together. Such a gathering of people where everyone will be equal and will correspond the concept of a round table. But it's done in order to at least show what are they aspiring as if for. Even though that among politicians it's practically impossible.
When you're working in a round table, there's a special effect where there's a crowd of multitude that's been created.
The thing is that the sum here is more than simply the number of participants, the total sum. And the more those, and since those around the table have to rise above their ego, to a certain extent they have to lower themselves, make the others greater in their eyes, agree with their opinion in some way, meaning they agree to this kind of effort, then these efforts bring them together, sum them up, so to speak. And what turns out is that the effect of the round table isn't just an arithmetic kind of adding of numbers, but it's much beyond that. And the greater their contradictions were at first, wanting to rise above these contradictions and attaining the state of a round table, by doing so, they achieve a great effect of connection, unification, integration.
Let's go deeper into the method of how we can actually create roundtable. This is all based on your material that you wrote in a lot of books. So it consists of 3 parts. The roundtable, that's the educational part, that's important. That is, it can be a mini lecture. The roundtable can be a mini lecture. It can be watching a video. It can be reading from sources or any other information, or just some news that we're all discussing. So this is the first educational part. The second part is the roundtable itself, the discussion itself. That's also divided into different parts. You can do the self-reflection, games, or a workshop. And the third part is practicum. So you're basically applying the rules that of the roundtable into your life. Is it right to say that the impression that I got in the roundtable I can actually apply at my work, in my family? Is that correct?
The thing is that, well, actually, a round table, or this concept of a person rising above his own ego in order to come closer to others, so much so that it's not only that we accept different impressions from each other, ideas, but that we come together in understanding the problem and its solution. This is an entire tremendous complex of exercises and things that we have to do. I don't think that it's like, a small intro into what a round table is. People have to agree with it. They have to understand. They have to go through certain exercises, or how to call it, in order to really understand how to rise above themselves, how to bend themselves, yield toward others. What ways are there to communicate? I bend toward others before others. I'm equal to others. I'm higher than them. All these different states. How can I find myself? How can I correctly get oriented in this regard? I think that the first stage is the most important one. If people agree to this, if people are ready for it, if they were prepared for it.
This is the educational part?
It is, and a very powerful one that includes a variety of different exercises. It's a very serious psychological training, where people understand where they are, what do they have to do. It's all not simple.
So a person has to understand during this educational stage what will the benefit of the roundtable be for him in the end.
Yep.
When I was preparing, I found out that there was a period that's in cosmology that's called the period of big connection, and we can say as if we are the continuation of this process, the big connection. It may be alien to our ego, but it's something that we're actually the process that we're continuing. Okay. We as people, we need to continue this process. And you say that before the roundtable, there should be a workshop. What are the goals of the workshop? First is is a worm breaker, icebreaker, and raising the importance of the topic that's being discussed. That's the first stage.
Well, it's very important, of course, to take simple egoists that, from the point of the ego, are trying to resolve some problem, and to bring them together, sit them around a round table, to convince them that they can solve the problem only by being integrally connected with each other above their own ego, meaning that everyone has to solve this problem together, and the main thing is to achieve a common solution, because that's the right thing to do, and no individual solution can be correct or true, as genius as it might seem. So you have to work with them.
So you sort of have to artificially start doing that. Even you have to feel connection even before, and you artificially raise the importance of all the participants and everything that we're doing even before the roundtable starts. This is number one. The second is the self-reflection of every participant. How well is he prepared to involve in the roundtable itself? And the third is even artificially feeling connection between all participants. Even if they know that I'm playing it out, but it's still important. Number four, everyone is trying to talk about the benefit of being together and discussing things together.
That's the most important thing, when they agree that only their common solution will be the only correct and true one, and they won't look at any other methods.
This is a necessary step where everyone is showing how important things that we can do together and that are more important.
True.
It is like meeting of friends that a lot of sages describe this. Number five, the spectrum of feelings the preparation for the roundtable. This is also the difference between the integral method, where you don't get onto solving a problem before you set a certain connection between the participants. How long do you think this process can be? 30 minutes? Maybe faster with some people. How fast can people really connect between themselves in 30 minutes?
I can't even imagine it happening in several months, but you have to try to, you have to work on it. And also, it depends, what are you talking about? What's the topic? What state did people come with to begin with? What state did they come in to begin with? Suppose it's surgeons who already made many operations, and they see the situation of the patient that they're about to operate on, and they see that nothing or no one can do anything, and they come to such gruesome conclusions about their previous attempts to solve the problem independently. Then they understand that only if we have this kind of brainstorm, then probably we'll be able to find some kind of a new solution.
Yeah, and of course there's a difference between people that work together for 10 years and people that just signed up for the course and don't even know each other. These are different processes.
But there are such games where people can win only on condition that they solve a problem together.
Yeah, we're going to talk about games also later. Furthermore, the goal of Roundtable is, after we already prepared ourselves, where we include ourselves sort of on an emotional level into each other, we talk about solving problems. We talk about changing the external perception into internal. What else do you think Roundtable can do?
Round tables practically exist in order to bring a person to a group, even all of humanity, it doesn't matter if it's a small or bigger group, to bring them all to a state that is similar to the general law, integral law of nature. Meaning, in this case, if they really unite and they want to solve a problem, then they're closest to its correct solution in that state, or at least to its closest to the uppermost resolution of solving it.
Okay, let's talk about the rules of the Roundtable. And there are the very clear rules, principles following which we can actually reach that result. They're quite technical, but very important. We're turning off all the telephones and checking the external conditions so nothing is disturbing us. We're not leaving our space, our spot where we're sitting, only if we are required to. It's also important not to have new people join the Roundtable.
Those that are unprepared.
Yes, not prepared. Let's say we're studying for 30 minutes and someone jumps in. No. Number 2, all of us were discussing one topic and are paying attention to the moderator. It's important to have one topic.
Of course.
Number 3, everyone is openly saying his opinion. There's also people that are quite shy. They don't want to. They're kind of passive participants in the round table. We can't really curse anyone, and so what should my reaction be to a person that is quite silent?
To have some kind of a vote, a hidden vote, I don't know how to call it, but so that it'll be given time. You have to give everyone time to adapt, to mutually integrate with one another, understand the problem, to express his opinion correctly, and so on. These are problems of inner or external organization of everyone together. But in general, a person has to know that he has to participate in this experiment, and we have to bring him or prepare him to this with all due seriousness.
So it becomes an art of the moderator to include everyone, to make everyone and be involved in the discussion.
Yep.
In one of your books, you also say that you don't really recommend to talk about yourself, to say jokes, but only talk about our common field and what's going on right now, and not go back to history. Why do you think so? This information cannot bring us closer?
I don't think that it's so necessary. You see, the thing is, I don't know what questions do you want to solve. I meant that the questions to be solved are about understanding or perceiving the upper world, about putting together the desires and intentions of the participants. By that, a new spiritual platform that's higher than our world will be formed, in which we will solve the problems of our connection spiritually wise and our spiritual connection, meaning above our desires, above our day-to-day aspirations. And this way, we will come to their solution, to revealing the upper world in our feelings and emotions. If we're talking on a different level here, then...
Yeah, we're talking about a different level. Let's say people that are not unemployed now, they were sent to our course, and I don't know, they came to improve their lives. Say, for example, they're stressed, they're not certain.
One way or another, then you have to tell them that the next stage of the development of human society, for it to be stressless and to go on the right path is a stage where people come together, unite, by that implementing the highest law of nature, which is the law of general connection. And when in that way we'll explain all of this, then it'll become clear to them that we're getting together in order to practically realize these things, the connection itself, to have this kind of training, and we'll come to that.
Okay, let's continue. The round table goes from left to right. Why?
No, it's just the order of things. That the right side is the beginning and the left is the end. Until we bring everything to the right, until when we complete the right is considered complete, the left is considered incomplete.
There has to be a certain object that allows me to talk. Yeah, let's say
Suppose a pencil.
Yeah. It also symbolizes that I have the right of that I talk now. No one is interfering. There's also that we limit the speech because there's people that talk more. So sometimes we use the sandwich. Number 4, rule number 4, is that we all listen to each other. Why is it so important to listen to each other?
How can we come to a common opinion if we don't compare ourselves to others and others to ourselves and so on?
So what happens to me when I listen to someone else very attentively?
By the way, this is very non-simple. It's very complicated, actually. To listen to others, it doesn't mean that you're critically listening to them all the time, trying to examine where do they suit you and where don't they, and so on. To listen, it means to disconnect from yourself, to make a copy of your current self and to start perceiving the other within yourself, to as if integrate with the other and then bring these two things together. It's a lengthy process. 1 minute won't help. It won't be enough, no matter what you do.
So I'm listening to the other.
I listen to the other, I permeate them. I dwell in them. I have to feel what they feel. Why does he think the way that he does? Why does he solve the problem the way that he does and like that, not like I do?
Listening to each other is a big pressure, sort of not essential. I have to be motivated to listen to someone. So he's bringing some information that has been useful for me, that I can listen to him, but it's not always like that. So what can be my motivation to listen to someone? Especially if I disagree with him.
I want to reach the correct solution of the problem. This is the most important thing for me. It's more important than do I agree or don't I. And altogether, who's right, who's wrong. What's important is the correct solution of the problem, regardless of what its source is.
Okay. Rule number 5, there is no discussions, no critique. We can criticize the idea itself, but not each other.
Well, there are no disputes, but you have to really scrutinize why, one way or another, why does someone think or resolve things in a certain way.
It has to be a constructive criticism.
It's not criticism, it's just scrutinizing one's point of view. What I did not grasp from whatever I read and so on.
So say we clarified something and there's 2 or 3 opinions. What do we do?
Continue scrutinizing until you come to that. One way or another, you have to come to that. Or, even if we don't come to a single opinion, but it should be a general opinion of everyone, a common opinion. We come to 2, 3 different solutions, that in one case we can do that, in another case we can do this, and so on.
So we're talking kind of generally, but if we have a round table and there's 2 or 3 discussions, doesn't matter where you are, having a picnic or conducting a state level discussion, we still have to come to one solution.
The round table has to end with a clear resolution.
And who gives the last word? The moderator, the president?
No one, because then it's not a round table.
So if we cannot succeed to come to one decision, what do we do?
To stay that way, a round table cannot be concluded in any other way than with a single opinion, a common opinion. Otherwise, it's not a round table.
Okay, it's clear, but we still can't come to one solution.
That's your own business, but this is how a round table has to end. So therefore, I'm saying there could be such a resolution where 2 or 3 different solutions exist, and why?
So let's say we're responsible to do to quarantine people or not to. The 2 solutions. What do we do?
This is where the round table ends, and the decision is made out of the round table in a different way. What, you want to force the round table under some straight line?
So we finished the round table. You're the health minister.
Here, democracy came to an end.
Now we're going to the president, and he has to make a solution.
Suppose president, doesn't matter who.
But we still know that we have two opinions.
We draw a match. Whose match is longer? That's how we decide.
Okay. Let's say I'm the moderator of the round table. Some rules. What do we do?
This is something else. Here you can beat for that.
So how do you say that to a person at the round table? Is someone else supposed to do that?
If someone doesn't follow the rules of the circle, then a red light suppose turns on in the middle of the table and everyone is silent. Something like that.
Out of my experience, I know that it's important to not to have one person telling that the other is doing wrong. Like you're doing that throughout the whole hour. Without any permission, this is something that is wrong.
Obviously, it brings to disputes, obviously.
So either a moderator, this is the one who does it, or no one?
Doesn't matter.
Number 6, we are we're not engaging into any discussions that is off topic. Number 7, we are rising above rejection. So all the time we experience rejection, things that we cannot accept, that are opposite to my opinion.
I have to rejoice the appearance of opposed opinions, because precisely by rising above them, by each rising above them, we can come to the next degree of resolving the problem. Therefore, the more it seems to me that the problem is unsolvable, the more it seems to me that we're incapable of rising above it, that the contradictions are tremendous. To that extent, alongside with this, we have to understand that in this problem is immersed some kind of special task, value, mission. If we can't resolve it commonly, we can't come to that, and we have to keep working on it and being very respectful toward that problem, because as a result, it can raise us to a completely different level of decision-making, completely different state.
The further we go, the more I understand that the method of Roundtable itself, that is actually used in many areas and many businesses, it actually requires more preparation before the roundtable itself, but also in general, that the person has to be ready for it. Not that I just took this 10 rules and okay, let's sit down. You really have to prepare for it. Maybe there should be a course, educational course, how to learn roundtable. It can be generally can be used right away in order to improve connections between people.
You can't put together this kind of roundtable out of government members, parliament members. So you have to, first of all, educate them, re-educate them for an extended period of time, and only after them bring them to the round table, and only then will they be able to really come to resolve
But generally, to improve connection, you can use roundtable.
What does it mean to strengthen the connection? If it will come to its correct end, then yes. If not, there are only disputes, then what for?
Well, sometimes we would go outside and gather people, discuss a certain topic, and people felt quite connected and happy.
Maybe it was pleasant for them to express their opinion. The question is, did they listen to others by doing so?
But when we're talking about using roundtable in order to solve problems and conflicts, then it's a different thing.
We're not planning to discuss what kind of cakes are we going to bake at home, right?
So this educational part should be prior.
Very powerful, yes.
Another rule, all participants have to be honest and open towards each other.
Meaning that before that, they already have the correct perception of the method of the round table, that only in this way can they come to the correct resolution, which is so important to everyone.
Even if such serious preparation, when we start discussing something, conflicts even, we still have to implement a workshop before, 30 minutes of preparation before making a decision.
Yeah, and if it's in our circles or something, then we have to nonetheless use our materials of none else besides him, and so on.
Yeah, just wanted to mention also, is there... I can actually list the questions that we're going to be discussing. We can watch a video, read something. Is there a difference between that?
The thing is, what do you want to come to? You want to bring them to a common opinion, common resolution, solution, about what question, on what level. This is something that you have to predetermine.
Okay, clear. Another important point is that everyone has to be equal in the circle, and the decision has to be made together. It's not clear. How are we equal?
If you're planning on resolving problems, questions, and doing it in a circle, then, to begin with, the concept of a circle is where everyone's equal. There's no beginning, there's no end, there's no greater, no smaller, smarter, or less. Everyone's completely equal. And therefore, plenty and plenty of conditions arise as a result. How can we introduce this equality?
So, equal, what does that mean? Let's say we're now there's a business, and I have a boss, I have an employee, And we have to make a decision now as a team. And me, myself as a boss, what does it mean that my employee's opinion is equal to mine?
It means that we're participating in such an event of solving a problem in which absolutely everyone takes part on equal terms. Not I'm boss and you're the fool, but all of us are completely equal, regardless of who knows what, how much, what did he come with to begin with. In the current situation, we're all equal.
This is very difficult. It also requires preparation. And because I already relate to the boss as a boss, and this one is a fool. I know he's a fool. And it's really difficult. It's very beautiful when I read about it, this equality, but how can we come to it?
Otherwise, there will be no circle. Anyone in that circle, by volume, by intensity, by its relative gravity, is equal to everyone else. I equal you, you're equal to him, he's equal to her. Doesn't matter then which of us expresses what kind of opinion. He's considered an individual.
Rule number 10. Our goal is creating an atmosphere of unity, a warm place.
If we create a true atmosphere of unity that connects us, then the solution will be true and correct.
So everyone aims to create this vibe of unity, and then we can make a solution.
Yeah.
It's not that the solution is the most important, no, but the unity is.
Yeah.
What are the functions of the moderator that organizes the circle?
Everything. And it's not one person. It should be an entire committee or something, depending on what they're engaged in. If these are important problems, then it's all about how do they prepare everything. They have to send the materials, they have to prepare, they have to maybe generate or create some kind of intro, talks, scrutinies, to find out who's ready, who's not, when are people ready to get together around the round table, because the round table isn't the beginning, it's the end of an act that gives a solution that is accepted by everyone.
So you're saying the preparation is the most important?
Of course.
So the moderator has to prepare people.
Well, don't call him a moderator, organizer, it doesn't matter. It's an entire group, it's a team. If you're talking about getting together children, that's something else.
Let's say we have 15 people that signed up for the course, and I'm the moderator. I'm conducting a discussion. And am I the member of the circle? Am I outside of it? Who is the moderator part of the circle?
No, he's not.
Можно ли считать, что круглый стол это как бы такая лаборатория?
Can we say that a round table is a lab, sort of a mini model of this society where I can first determine my attitude to my fellow partner, and that's how I will relate to other people in all the spheres of my life. So, like in sport, I go work out, I got some skills during the workout for an hour and a half hour, and then I can use the skills in my life. We can just sit in the round tables all day, no.
No. It's also impossible to prepare them so quickly.
Another important point is that after this circle is conducted, we can do some games. Like there's games for icebreakers, there's connecting games, there's role-playing games. What does game give?
The opportunity to easily tune yourself on some kind of fragment of our connection. It doesn't obligate you to anything, easily comes, easily goes, loosens you up, brings you closer, but of course it is not a condition, a realistic condition for making decisions.
The foundation of every game is competition. You do not think that competition is good.
To compete, yes, but first and foremost against yourself and with others too, but what for? In order to produce my most objective possible opinion.
So where do I direct my energy? Not to compete against the other.
No, only for the well-being of everyone. Otherwise, it's not a round table.
Maybe against some common enemy?
No, better not an enemy. Better not an enemy, but the common well-being. Even if we're talking about destroying some kind of a common enemy, in this case.
So, according to you, game is sort of like you can change the atmosphere, the vibe. It lifts us up above our ego and allows us to be less shy and more talking. You're also saying that games help create the models of future. What is this take? What kind of forces do we imply on ourselves?
By that, we draw the force that balances all of the systems of nature. If we play correctly, and we aspire to reach a correct solution, then by doing so, we cause the balancing of the systems, forces of nature.
What is this model of the future state? So I am playing my future state that is more perfect. So say we want to make a decision, we create the perfect decision and try to come to it, or we're trying to picture our team or organization on a higher level.
Practically, you're drawing yourself to it, lifting yourself to that. You're drawing forces that will develop you up to that state.
So there's like hidden forces in nature, and that's...
Everything exists in nature, all of future states, everything. All of our future states are immersed in nature, exist in nature, and by that we draw them, bring them about. Yeah, it's all a game.
How do people know this future state? Do they imagine it?
Doesn't matter. The main thing is that they'll play like children develop by playing, and we continue doing the same, only we don't really see it in any way.
So all that development is through games?
Life is a game. All of it is play.
And there's different kinds of games that we can use during the different stages of a roundtable. They have to be adapted also according to the public that we're working with.
Sure.
The last stages is feedback and sharing impressions. You're saying that the main goal is to conclude the work in a circle and the recognition of the process that the participants went through.
Yeah, it's very important.
And these are the emotional processes. So we have to sort of mentalize them and think about them.
A person has to feel all this, go through it, think it through in mind and heart, in intellect and emotion, and then to combine it with his intellectual and emotional impressions, and to somehow try to express it.
And what should the result be?
Try to express it, maybe in a few sentences or in a few excerpts.
Okay. The last part of our meeting today is just general questions that actually people send, people that are engaging in the roundtables of that sort. But we're actually talking about general rules of the circle, and then they're being adapted into a certain audience. Do we have different stages that a person goes through during a circle? Is a person going through one emotional state during one meeting?
I don't think that it's possible that only one state is possible. Every state consists of several states, even if we can't differentiate it all, suppose. But still, these are several states. And so I don't think that it's good for us to somehow in advance limit so roughly that today we're talking only about this. That's it. A person might not understand, might lock himself inside himself if he doesn't have the ability to.
Say there is a state a person is going through, let's say, a revelation of evil of his evil inclination. And I'm building this meeting. I want the person to feel it, to go through it. I give specific exercises. We're reading our source excerpts that I want the person to feel this. And say the person is totally in a different state. He's maybe hyper, and he can't even analyze what's going on with him, that it's his ego. How can you moderate this? Can you program this emotion to be given to a person?
It's impossible. You can't program man's soul and somehow organize it, put it in some kind of...
How do you do that? You're sitting and teaching thousands of people in front of you, and everyone is in their own state. But you have a plan for the lesson, and you want people to go through a certain thing.
I imagine some kind of total sum in front of me, and this is what I work toward. It's very bad when out of that sum total I have to take out particular qualities. Suppose North Americans, Africans, these, those, according to certain qualities, characteristics, whether corporeal or spiritual. It's better when it's all one.
To say I'm a moderator, and I have a certain plan for the discussion today, and for today, for the month ahead, and these are the states that we have to go through. I plan these meetings. I gather material. Can I plan it this way?
Of course. Otherwise, how will you advertise these things, lead all of these unifications?
And then it's up to individual what states they're going through, right? What is this force that's being revealed in this circle? Sometimes you call it the creator, but then it's being associated with religion. When you call it nature, then it gets into some spiritual practices definition right away. So what is the right word?
What exactly?
What is revealed within the circle? What is this? What is this force?
In a circle, what is expressed is the general force of that circle, the integral force of its participants.
So depending on the audience, you can pick a definition about. How important is it to have a round table itself as in the shape of a table?
It's important. There have to be some external characteristics that will remind us, factors that will remind us about the format that we've gathered in.
There's workshops sometimes that are silent. When is it better to use them? What topics to be silent about?
This depends on the group. You have to see. I think that it's a very unique way of connecting people with their inner attention, and this can happen only if there's a very good understanding.
This is not for beginners, right?
Yeah, no, by no means. They won't understand what you want.
I already asked that question, but once again, the questions should be prepared before. Can be sources, dramatic situations, can be videos. Is there a difference in the circles of this kinds?
No.
Or the same rules remain?
Yeah.
It's just different types of information, the presentation of them. What kind of questions we cannot solve in the roundtable? Are there any?
Practically, there are none.
So is it for everything?
Everything.
Say I'm now going with my friends, go to the bar now. It seems really impossible. But we're going there and we're just going to have fun and connect around each other and even talk about some problems. Can we use Roundtable there?
Yeah.
What is the main difficulty while organizing lessons in the form of a roundtable? What should we pay attention towards?
Well, it's very not simple to turn a lesson into a roundtable because there's the teacher. And a round table is if the teacher excludes himself from this table and he's an external moderator, that's something else.
So what do you think is the difficulty to organize a round table like that?
The students themselves, do they have the correct preparations for it?
The difficulty is in preparation, right?
Do they understand the importance of the solution of the problem?
What is the best quantity of the participants of the roundtable?
6, 7, I think, should be. More than 5 and less than 10.
So not more than 10.
Preferably, otherwise it's really hard. Otherwise it's formal.
Today all the circles are virtual. Is there any advantage of that as opposed to people sitting next to each other and feeling each other closer physically? What are the advantages and disadvantages?
I don't know about virtual circles, what to say here, what I see on TV or what.
Virtual is when we're on Zoom.
Very hard. Very hard. Very hard to understand that we're equal, that we're trying to be as one man.
So educational part is more advantageous, that I can bring a person, an excerpt, and he lives somewhere, I don't know, in a different country, but he can give this lecture and everyone's going to hear them. But when we're sitting together physically next to each other, we feel each other more.
We have to feel, we have to know each other, we have to speak the same language, it's very important, and so on.
So virtual connection is a problem.
Yeah, eventually they will all dissolve mainly, but still it demands effort.
You're talking about a circle method as the method to strengthen and create strong connection between people. As the result of a circle is a positive force of nature. Can you expand on that? What do we produce? You're saying that people are not going to work and this will be their work.
Interconnection, adhesion, connection, the unification of people, that's what it generates. And to call these people this way to the integration of all of humanity. And in our time, this is the most and essential work of all people.
So there is a state, let's say a country, where people are using circles in their workplace, with the family, to generate positive connection.
Yeah.
And
it's the product of their actions, and maybe they don't need anything else.
And you're saying some people are going to get money for it?
For all this, they have to be provided for. Suppose even half of the population will be engaged specifically and constantly organizing these kinds of acts of unification and circles and so on.
Can it be measured somehow?
Everyone will be convinced that this kind of closeness between people brings to abundance, brings to them being able to have everything.
This product that we're talking about, that it can be measured, that the result of it and can be measured.
No problem, can be.
Can we use songs during roundtables?
Of course, songs unite.
What is the age, sex, and education that is advisable?
Preferably for them to be equal.
So age is important.
Equal in all ways. So that no external factors, characteristics will make anyone preferable to anyone else.
Is there a benefit to observe the roundtable from a side?
Of course, it's good to study this, to demonstrate it before everyone, yeah.
Is it good to start a working day with a roundtable? Would it be a waste of time? And finish it the same way also?
No, possibly it's good. You should try.
So at work, say, sometimes when you're in the field working or in a plant, there should be some instead of a warming up, physical warming up, you have to also talk about things in the morning?
I can't say. It depends on the development of the society.
What shall you do when this first impression elevation from a circle disappears?
To stop it, to have a thorough investigation of why and what's missing in our work, and to restart.
Sometimes management at work, they don't want to accept the round method because they think they will lose their authority.
You can't do anything. You have to fight this.
So the benefits from a roundtable, to sum up our discussion, it strengthens our connection, it solves conflict situations, allows for open discussion, changes my perception from external to internal. It also makes me responsible. works with the core of the problem and not just its external consequences. It also forms objective, systematic opinion. So Roundtable is not just an effective way of to coming to solutions, but it's also a way to come to a better future.
True, we have to advance toward that.
Do you really think this method is going to be used by everyone, or there's some other methods?
Nothing besides the circle. Nothing. And therefore, we have to aspire to implement this method wherever we can, and whatever we're doing in all realms of our activity where there's more than one person and on.
Did you use this method with your teacher also?
No, we were two, and he considered it a group.
So even two people can work in a circle method together?
So it says in Hebrew, miut rabim shnaim.
Thank you very much. We touched it a little bit generally, but thank you very much. See you
Wish
next
you
time.
luck.